What's up, Dragon Brood? So, I don't know if y'all can hear that. Hopefully that doesn't come across, because my neighbor has like construction going on, but it sounds like people might be murdering somebody and trying to get into my house. It's like a zombie movie. But anyway, what's up, Dragon Brood? So today's video is going to be something that it's kind of been I won't say a long time coming, but a little while in coming, in that you got to kind of see me struggle through a Grixis and then a Dimir Rogue deck previously in Standard, and both were not very good. But obviously with Zendikar Rising, we got a whole bunch of new rogues. And for the first time, rogues are actually all trying to do something together that matter. They're pumping each other up, they're putting stuff into the graveyard, they have good support spells. So now might be the first time in a while you can play it, and the deck is actually fairly cheap to build. So we definitely wanted to cover it, and I did promise y'all that, hey, once rogues were playable, I would at least build a rogue deck. So this is me fulfilling that promise. Before we get to that though, you know what I'm going to ask. As always, if you haven't, please remember to like this video, because that helps us get in front of more people. Hit the subscribe button, because that just lets me know you love me. And then hit that notification bell, because that's for you to make sure you get notified every time I have a video up, which right now is every day. So let's go take a look at this Dimir Rogue list. All right, so nothing in this list I think is going to look drastically different than like what a lot of other people have done so far, but we have a few small tweaks that I think could make a difference. But going down the list, we've got Merfolk. Man, this is going to be a rough video for me to get through. Merfolk Windrobber. And this is actually one of those spells that seems very unassuming, that it's like, it's just a 1/1. But you know what? It flies. It allows you to put some extra cards in your opponent's yard. You can sacrifice it to draw a card. So you can't really turn your nose up at this card. It's actually good all around. Bloodchief's Thirst. This is a card I think you're going to see in so many lists. It's hard to overlook it. It's just a very good removal card. It deals with just about everything fairly efficiently. I mean, it does end up costing 4 if you need to get rid of something more than 2, but it's worth it. This list, we're going to try a couple of Mind Carvers so we can be just a slight bit more aggressive than some of the other versions are. Playing Thieves Guild Enforcer, which is kind of a 4 of in all of these rogues lists. I was about to say Thieves list. But yeah, you can't really look against this card just because it's the most efficient way to mill stuff into your opponent's yard. We're playing just 2 Lofty Denials, but we're also playing 4 Drown in the Lock. This is probably the best spot for Drown in the Lock because you're putting so many cards in your opponent's graveyard. Then we got Soaring Thought Thief. Also has Flash, which I think people forget about this card, so keep that in mind. Brazen Bar, we all know how great that card is. Nighthawk Scavenger, this is one of the new cards that we actually really like. The life gain here is very big. Then we have Hagra Maulers, Hagra Mauling, just as an extra way to remove creatures, but it also does double as a black mana source if we need it to. Playing a couple of Rankles, because that card's just good. And honestly, it's arguable maybe we should have 3 Rankles and 2 Zerasan, but we're going to try it out just because Zerasan's the new card and we want to see how it works. But Zerasan, also very good. Then we have a full set of Pathways, 8 Islands, a castle, and 7 swamps. So this should be pretty good, but we're gonna find out. And you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, let's swap 1 island for 1 more swamp. I think that's probably going to be correct. We do have a sideboard as well for those of you who want a sideboard. We have 3 Cling to Dust, 4 Duress, 3 Negates, 1 Eliminate, 2 Witch's Vengeance, and 2 Ashiok's Nightmare, blah blah. All right, so we're going to take this in the arena, see how it does. I have a feeling it's going to be much better than the last rogue list we got to play. Okay, we get to go first with this. It's not terribly exciting though, to be honest. We did draw the 1 castle with a non-swamp here. But let's keep it. It's a very defensive hand, which isn't necessarily how I want to play this. And it doesn't fit necessarily how we made some of the card choices. But, you know, we're going to go with that. So we're going to go ahead and put this into play tap for now. Mostly because we have 2 ways to bounce creatures and we can kill a thing. So we don't need to be in a huge hurry here. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll play the Windrobber. Largely expecting to just put this castle into play tap next turn. Alright, the opponent's checking out our Wind Robber and does nothing. That is not what we expected. Alright, well, let's attack with this Wind Robber and see what the opponent thinks. Nothing. Okay. We may be looking for a Drowned in the Lock pretty quick here, because this might just be a blue-white control type deck. You want a Brazen Bar to bounce that? Okay, that seems fine, I guess. That's a hard up use of Brazen Bar, but I mean, do what you got to do, you know. This does have flash. I mean, I guess if we want to keep attacking, we just bounce that. I mean, my draw wasn't very good here, but I also don't know what the opponent's trying to do. I'm kind of confused. Alright, they're playing that to search for something. I mean, I'm kind of glad I didn't keep the Hagra Mauling in hand, because I was considering it, but it turns out it wouldn't have made much difference here. I mean, being in our hand, we obviously want it for the mana. Man, I wish we had opponents that just played faster. Like, I say this a lot of times in my videos, but if you're gonna play control decks, you got to learn your cards so you can play faster. It's, especially in paper, it puts you at a big disadvantage. And I think even in Arena, I've seen sometimes with people playing slow decks where we've been able to clock people because we go to 3 games, especially in best of 3, and they just run out of time. Alright, so they want to Tormod's Crypt. Sure. So they're going to Tormod's Crypt themselves. Seems fine, I guess. Don't think we care all that much. Okay, I think we're just going to do this. So if the opponent does decide they want to sweep the board, we're not going to be putting too many creatures onto the board to get eaten up. Alright, let's see what they're up to here. Birth of Miletus? Sure. Makes sense. Alright. Fae of Wishes? Sure. Still can't say I'm completely sure what's going on here. But, you know, it is what it is, as they say. Okay, well, that does only cost 2. And we're going to go ahead and attack. As expected, they're going to eliminate their own graveyard. Seems fine. Alright, 2 cards in their yard. Which we could very well make 2, 4. So that'd be 6 cards. Then when we attack, that'd be 8. Okay, Fae of Wishes. So are we to just assume the opponent doesn't have a sweeper of any kind at this point? Like, what's even happening? Okay. Yeah, this is a hand that would have been great, even with one of those alternate lands, but not an option here. This is a little bit better. We will keep and sadly probably get rid of one of these Nighthawks, as much as I do like that card. And then we'll just pass. Alright, well, let's see what happens, I suppose. Don't want to get hit with Lofty Denial. Opponent likely has a removal and their own Soaring Thought Thief. Yep. Alright, black land. You were a black land. Not the way we wanted it, but we'll take it. Alright. I mean, our Blood Chiefs, Thirst can kill most of the stuff they play, but there's nothing to kill. So we'll just have to wait. Oh, all the Blood Chiefs Thirst, huh? I mean, we attack. I was gonna say maybe they block. Ugh. Ugh. I really want to play this Nighthawk. I do. I really, really do. It's gonna get countered though. I mean, I don't know. All right, they have Lofty now to get me. Oh, they didn't have it. They didn't have it. I seriously thought, I was like, if they have the Lofty now, I'm just wrecked. But apparently not. Okay, well, they got land, so now they can Blood Chief's Thirst our Nighthawk here if necessary. Oh, just Aggro mauling. Doing it the hard way. Fair enough. Alright, well, the good news is we can kill lots of creatures. Bad news is we're going to take 7 turns to kill the opponent at this rate. And with us not playing anything, they have to know that we're sitting on either counters or removal, right? Because we would have played anything else at this point. Yep. Oh, boy. That's sad. Well, if we were playing poker, we'd be winning a bunch of money. But this is Magic, so this means nothing. Mine Carver. We're probably just going to hold that. I mean, I feel like we're playing a game of chicken. That like the opponent's like worried about us countering something or whatever. And all right, there's a Rankle. Sure, I don't have a problem with you having that. I mean, things get drowned in the locks so easy here, though. But I guess we got to just at least start. First one gets countered, I assume. Yep, there it is. Not a surprise. Nighthawk? Sadly, we're going to have to kill that before killing the Rankle, I think. Well, that's a thing. Oh, Do we care about letting him gain life off of the Nighthawk? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. No, it's going to get countered. It's going to get countered anyway. Yep. All right. So we're going to have 2 turns. Unless now. Yep. Oh, that doesn't help us. I'm gonna go after the Wind Robber. Darn it. I was kind of hoping they might counter that one, but no dice. I mean, if they drew all their counters, like, so be it. Yeah. Alright, they win. Okay, we're on board with keeping this. That'll work. See what the opponent's up to here. These are kind of sweet card backs, too. Check those out. Little puppy sleeping in the temple. Kind of neato. Alright, we'll go ahead and play this. And we'll take a chance to Blood Chief's Thirst this guy. Alright, this is working out nicely. Just gonna load the yard. And we'll go ahead and return this. Just keep the beats off the table. And then we have a Hagra Mauling we could use next turn. So even if it's like a questing beast or something, we're not that concerned here. And because our things have Death Touch, a Primal Might wouldn't even have been that scary there. And get in for 7. So now we're looking for another removal or bounce spell to really put the pressure on the opponent. Questing Beast seems legit. Question is, do we want to draw a card and gamble here? Well, we will get that wish, won't we? I say we just attack. I mean, if the opponent wants to choose not to block, that's on them. I mean, I've played the mono green list. We're at 16. I don't know what the opponent's setting up that they think's gonna happen here. I mean, they play like a big Stone Coil Serpent. But even then, they're still losing some stuff to the Thieves Guild Enforcers. Oh, just gonna ram through one. Okay, that makes sense. Gonna ram through the other one? No. Okay, well, what's that last card then? Because I am genuinely confused. Alright, well, that's a thing you can do. I don't disagree. Alright, they're going to generate some food. See what they find here. A land and... I mean, I guess I could generate another food and sack it, so that's a real thing. I did not need that. Nor did we need that. I guess we'll put that in that way. Tempted to sacrifice. You know what? Let's just draw. Okay, well, that's a legit thing to find. So block, make food, sack 2 foods. I mean, they're hanging in there. All right. Let's see what happens. Well done. All right, we're going to have to mulligan this one. This we will keep. Scrapping the Mine Carver. We're not going to play the Thieves Guild Enforcer here just in case they have like a Blood Chief's Thirst or something. You don't want to give them the easy kill, since that card's a sorcery. And here, since I already had one of the other lands, an island, I'm just waiting on the pathway to decide where I want to put it. Okay. Well, and this is a good example why. So we want to put this on black so that we can, let's see, if they just go ahead and block with the Cobra, we don't mind. We're okay with that. I mean, I didn't think they would, but we would have been okay with it. Oh, we were a card short. 2, 4, 6. Oh, I should have just played the Thieves Guild Enforcer. We would have got 3 more damage in. 4 more damage in. Gosh dang it. That would have been a huge attack I messed out on. I didn't realize there was that many cards already. Oof. Well, if we lose with our opponent being at like 4, that's going to be our fault. For sure. Ooh, we put some monsters in the yard. That's what we like to see. You know what? We're going to keep you off that Cobra. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put this on blue. And let's see what the opponent wants to do here. I mean, even if they produce 1 blocker, they're only taking 6 right now. So we need to find another removal card or a bounce spell or a Soaring Thought Thief or something. Rada helps, which we're not happy about, but we're not going to not attack either, you know? All right. Got him. All right, we're going to keep this. This isn't ideal by any stretch, but seems reasonable. Robber of the Rich. That's not going to be good for us. That's not a card we really want our opponent to have now, is it? Robber, double Robber of the Rich. How do we feel about this? Let's... I think we bounce one of them. Kind of wanted to play the Thought Thief here, but not sold. Okay, Wind Robber. You don't really help us here. And sadly, our opponent can play our Brazen Bar, so that's a lot less exciting. Okay, they're choosing not to. Fair. Sadly, because they stole our Mind Carver, they can attack with one of them. Oh, they have a Claim the Firstborn. That's gross. Okay. Well, we have some options. Not a lot, but there are things. Let's see. Whenever one or more rogues you control attack, each opponent mills 2 cards. Okay, those are relevant words. Alright. That's important for getting the extra damage in, but also allows us to drown in the lock something, which is a big deal. And now we're at 15. We have Brazen Bars, Soaring Thought Thief, and Zareth removed from the yard. Unfortunately, these are actually rogues. Good news, we don't have anything in the yard for the opponent to steal. We're going to go ahead and kill the bigger one. I think that's the play here. Then if they want to spend their mana removing some of our creatures or something, fine. Then we have backup Scavenger and Robber, and then we start going to town. I mean, they can play some things. Don't think we really care about any of those being on the table. They might want a Brazen Borrower, though. I mean, I guess for them it's a matter of do they want to borrow a Thought Thief. I'm not really interested in blocking. I mean, at this point, it's going to come somewhat of a race, and with us having double Scavenger, that definitely benefits us. Okay, just straight up playing a Brazen Borrower. We don't hate that. So yeah, I'm just going to attack with this thing here. And then let the opponent take some damage. Oh, they're actually blocking. I didn't see that coming. Well, that's interesting. Let's see what the opponent's up to. Because we're going to be able to get them over the 8-card limit here. Still don't think we want to block a Robber of the Rich. I think we're going to let that through one more time and we'll risk whatever happens here. I mean, they do have access to our Zareth. I don't know if that means... because it's not in their hand. So, I mean, I guess they can't cast it. I have no idea how that works. Though, from our yard, they would just get a Thought Thief, I guess. They would have a blocker, so it wouldn't be the end of the world for them. Alright, and next, we don't really care about. That is not part of our plan here. Alright, well, now we start dropping the heavy hitters. And we are going to just remove this. And we are going to attack. I mean, seems good here. I mean, if they block, fine. If they don't, fine. We don't really care. I don't think there's any winning combination here. Robber doesn't do it, though they do have reach. I think people forget that, so attacking all these flyers into Robber of the Riches aren't the biggest thing. Okay, that's fair. Well, that just seems silly. Sure. I'm not blocking. I guess they were just giving up. Well, that was actually pretty cool. I have to admit, this deck is much more fun than the last one, and it's cohesive and it does what you want it to do, right? The biggest things I would say, if there was a weakness, I just wasn't that set on the Mind Carvers. I think it was like a cool experiment, and they're not bad, honestly. I think they're fine, and they're easy to craft. I believe they're uncommons if you need them, so that's an option. The other thing, like I said, overall makes this deck fairly easy is that it doesn't use a lot of rares and mythics. Like, it has a couple of the lands, the pathways, Zareth, and I don't know if any other new cards in here are actually rare. Everything else I think is common or uncommon. And most of your rares and mythics that are in here are stuff you already have from the last standard season. So that's really cool. So I honestly think you're gonna run into a lot of this in at least the next 3 or 4 weeks in Arena and ladder play because of that reason. I will say, if you're going to swap something in place of the Mind Carvers, I would consider playing maybe 2 of the Vantress Gargoyle as a card I think people forgot about. But it is a 5/4 for 2, and you almost always have at least the 7 cards in your opponent's graveyard as an option. Otherwise, maybe look at playing an additional Hagra Mauling, and maybe another Rankle might be the other options there. But I have to say, the deck overall was very good. Actually, I say that there's also a modal double face card that's a 2/3 with Menace. That's another one you could play as well. So you can consider 2 of those in place of the Mind Carvers anyway. But those were probably the only thing I would change. Everything else was pretty good. You can probably add in the Agadeems, whatever, the mythic land that comes into play on tap. That's a thing you can play. And it will let you get some of your creatures back later in the game. So it's not a useless card. And one of the reasons I left it off this list initially is because it is a more expensive version where you have to craft more mythics, and it is going to be a little more expensive in paper. But it was cool to see that this version of the deck did actually function like we wanted it to. So pretty excited about that. Remember, you can always get the deck list down in the description below. That's also where you can find links to my merchandise channel, which is super awesome. You can go help support me and my channel and my efforts by buying merchandise. Pretty please. Also, you can find links to our Discord channel that's in there. If you want to find me on Twitch, all of that can be found down in the description. And one last time, if you haven't, please remember to like this video to help us get seen by more people. Hit that subscribe button because that lets me know you appreciate the work I'm doing. And hit that notification bell because that's for you to make sure you get notified every time I have a new video up, which literally right now is every day, sometimes twice a day, and we've been going strong since February. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.